I named it the week of the week.
Week of the week. Off the bridge.
I've got a squirrel in this neighborhood. It doesn't have a tail, and it doesn't have a back, and it's been surviving for like a year.
Grant said, and I quote, "At his house, just let it loose there."
Well, me and neighbor Dave talked about it. He was like, "Have you seen the squirrel?" I was like, "Without the tail and with that leg?"
We have a bird that comes in the restaurant. We call him Petey. He'll just fly in and fly around. People are like, "Hey, there's a bird here." I'm like, "I know, he works here."
Do you name him Petey after Dumb and Dumber? Petey Bird, Petey Bird.
I didn't name him anything. I just everybody was calling him Petey. People were always like, "There's a bird here." I'm like, "I know, he's Petey. He's been here longer than me."
And welcome to the From Behind the Barcast, the podcast for bartending, service industry, drinking in general, and now food. And
always food.
And culinary delights. I mean, we've always talked about food. We are in the service industry, and you work in fine dining. Well,
yes, I have to. Traditionally.
Yeah. And I tend to think of myself.
Not fine dining.
Yeah, but I tend to think of myself as like a person who enjoys food and who likes fine food.
Yeah.
I'm Paxton. That is Clint Moses, and we have Sunset Kelly on the ones and twos.
Just like the confidence.
The confidence, you know why? Because
you made a better label for
I made better labels on them. So today we're all right. Well, we'll tell them what we're drinking first. I'm right on top today.
Kelly could hit it with the xylophone over there. Yeah. Xylophone Kelly.
Pit stop Kelly, pit crew Kelly.
So we are drinking. Okay, I'm going to take that away from you, sir. We are drinking Micheal David, who's at winery in Lodi, which is in California. The Freakshow. It's a red blend. It's the Freakshow red blend. So if you can't tell, it's Syrah, Petite Syrah, Salsa, a couple other things. But you get that sweetness from the Salsa.
The sweetness was great, and I knew every bit of the blend.
15% alcohol.
Oh,
so there was a little power to it.
Oh, because typically they're 11%.
Reds get higher than whites because they ferment longer.
That sounds racist. You reds, you get way higher than the whites.
But when you get Syrah, Zinfandel tend to carry a heavier weight alcohol percentage than most wines.
Gotcha.
Most wines, but Cabernet's 12 to 14%. Again, depending on how long it ferments for, and just some of the sometimes they want to have a little more. Like Washington Cabernets tend to have a more higher alcohol than I
figured it would be more Oregon that would have the higher.
Not a lot of Cabernets in Oregon.
I'm just saying
Pinot Noir.
Higher.
Wheat's legal in Washington too.
Higher. Okay. So last week,
cricket.
I will find the cricket.
Yeah! Always a good song. Spring practice has started. We're here. Hey, you know what? While we're here, let me get my little thing, okay? You just stop it or just keep going?
No, it's just very long.
What she said.
There we go.
Baseball season starts on Thursday. Don't you do it again. Don't you do it. Hey, the Braves, highly touted this year. Picked to go to the NLCS. Going to be a great year. I'm excited about Brave season. No plans to go to a game so far, but baseball starting. Something to watch on TV besides basketball, which has been crickets.
Well, I mean,
I started watching basketball 2 weeks ago. Passively, and actually watched 4 games weekend with Grant, who we'll get into some more Grant stuff later. But Grant likes to make small bets, but he likes to do parlays and stuff, and he doesn't win a lot. And was like, well, let me bet here. I guess betting's illegal here. And I'm like, yep, sure is. Even though everyone uses all the betting apps, he just couldn't. I guess the way he has his set up, it won't let him go to another state and bet. He's not supposed to bet in Georgia.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, I can't figure it out. And then last night when we finished the last basketball game, he goes, man, I'd have lost like $50.
I'm glad I'm in Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, because doesn't all that shit go through like the Bahamas anyways or wherever?
I don't know.
All right. So last week we opened the show. Our pregame was with Rap Snacks. So I made a clip of the Rap Snack segment and I put it on YouTube if you'd like to go subscribe to the channel and see that clip. It was us enjoying the Rap Snacks. So this week, Clint, he goes, hey, I don't want to have any Rap Snacks this week.
My sodium's
high. He goes, could we have Jazz Snacks? And I was like, I don't smoke weed. And he goes, no, like a charcuterie plate. And I was like, oh, yeah, we'll pair that with the wine.
Yeah.
So then as soon as I get off the phone with you, I get a phone call. And typically it'll say potential spam if I don't know the number, if I don't already have the
potential
number.
Jazz Snacks.
But it had this name. It was like Samuel Sandowski or some shit like that, right? So I was like, maybe I should answer. So I answered it. I was like, hello? He goes, hey, is this Paxton? I said, yeah. He goes, this is Dr. Samuel Sandowski. I saw the podcast last week, and I'm worried about your sodium intake. We need to make...
I love that you won't answer the phone for his friends. But a stranger is like, I'll take a chance on this one. Do I know you? Oh, no, thank you.
How much do you charge? But yes, my sodium is high. So yeah, we had to switch it up a little bit.
So we went with dried meats, though, not like sodium free.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, we had a little bit of
prosciutto and some uncured Genoa salame paired with
Baby Bell sharp
Baby
cheddar
Bell
wheels.
white cheddar wheels. And then they didn't have fancy provolone, so we went with Sargento.
Hey, just put that Italian pizzazz on anything.
Yeah, and it changes everything. Makes everything sound better. But
coming up in this segment, we have coming up in this first half, we do have a new segment coming up. But Clint has had the week of weeks, and
it was a bit. I worked all four. I finally got 4 night shifts, no lunch shifts, which has been great. But it's a little busier with that. But
because you've been working some doubles or morning shifts.
I have one. I've either had a double and 2 nights, or 3 or 4 nights, or 2 nights with the double with me another night, or just 3 nights and then a double, which is just the thing is, I'm old and I'm stubborn, and they're like, you want to take a break? And 3 out of 4 managers recommend taking a break. One of them was like, you're going to lose money, and I'm like, I'm not going to lose money, and instead I lose my sanity. And I have planned. I have a double on Friday at unknown location. You want to come find me and see me? Just have a drink, no food. I am going to take a 20-minute break and go sit down and air out my little feetsy weetsies and sit outside and just kind of.
Do you take your shoes off out there?
I'll go like that. I'm on River Street, so I'll go down like the street, like take my name tag off too. Go down the street like a couple blocks away and sit down and just. I mean, look, there's some people doing weird shit out there. I just sit down and just let my feet.
Actually, you popping your shoes and socks off on the cobblestone street that we don't mention that you already mentioned.
Yeah.
It's like the New York subway. You're not the weirdest guy out there doing
and
something.
I'm just, I dunk them in the river a little bit.
There's a guy licking a rat.
I went down
out
the
there.
dock and dunk my feet in the river. That'd be.
I didn't know you wanted a amoebic dysentery.
Yeah, COVID foot somehow. Got a club foot. Got a hoof and mouth disease. Twice. But yeah, it was a week. I went to a wedding on Saturday with my buddy Grant. We're going to get into that some a little bit here. But basically, Grant's niece got married. We'll get into this in Beaufort, South Carolina. And I, as being a good friend to Grant, who I love, who's been on the podcast before, was like, I'll drive there and back, so we can enjoy ourselves. But we looked at Ubers were like $80 each way
From Savannah
to Beaufort.
Oh, that's kind of surprising how cheap.
From my house to Beaufort.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising.
So we were like, I want to spend the money. We thought about taking a car and leaving and getting it the next day, Ubering one way, getting Richard to pick us up. And we were like, you know what? I'll just drive. Because it's nice to have a car so you can have stuff with you, and
have the freedom to leave places whenever you want to.
And so I'm like, well, I'm obviously not going to be drinking too much. So we go we run into his mom and stepdad, say hey to them. We go upstairs. It's raining. The wedding's supposed to be outside. The ceremony's supposed to be outside. It's raining all over the chairs. And so I walk up there, and it's completely quiet. And this open room is going to eventually have a reception in it, and there's no noise but people talking. And I'm like, someone should turn a speaker on. Maybe DJ Hot Potato could have. We'll get into him in a little bit.
And that reminds me of a song by Alanis Morissette.
Yeah.
It's like rain on your wedding. Sorry.
It's like getting fingered in a movie theater, right? So I'm like, let's go get a drink. So we go to this little bar. We walk in. I'm wearing a 3-piece suit. Okay, we're the most well-dressed people in the room for sure. Sit down, the bartender's like, well, what's up? And I was like, I want 2 of these $15 margaritas. My God, that Luna Azul that comes in the tall dick bottle.
Yeah,
the Luna Azul double añejo margarita with black sea salt on it. Oh my God, I wish I remember the name of the place. It was fantastic.
And this is in Beaufort, South Carolina?
Yeah, in Beaufort, South Carolina.
I think I've done some gigs there.
But I haven't driven in Beaufort in forever. I've taken a boat over and walked around.
Here's the thing. If you're in Savannah, Tybee, you can get to Beaufort, Hilton Head, whatever.
I could have gotten there in 25 minutes with a boat.
20 minutes on a boat, but in a car, you start going over there. All of a sudden, you're in England because there's 100 roundabouts.
Yeah, and the roads in South Carolina are hot goddamn garbage, Robert Kissabeth. talking about our GDOT bridging stuff over here.
Because I've had gigs over there, and I've had to leave, like 2 hours in advance.
Yeah, because we left 2 hours and 20 minutes before the wedding started just to make sure and made great time. So we just kind of had the margarita. But I'm going to drive back. So I have that. They had a berry mojito and Moscow mules. They had a little apple in there. Nice touch on the Moscow mule. We'll do that. A little green apple in there. And so I had one of those right when the thing got over, or the ceremony got over, and better efficiency over here, by the way. Just want to say. But I'm not going to drink much. So Grant is having his fun. But during the ceremony, the couple's already been married for they got married during COVID at the courthouse. She was pregnant.
Oh, so this is just the ceremony.
And they wanted to wait some time, so everybody get together and stuff.
Yeah.
So they have a 2-year-old.
That's nice.
So instead of the 2-year-old being the flower girl, they have this guy's a Marine, 3 of his Marine buddies, arm in arm, coming down the aisle, throwing flowers. Hilariously cute.
And it's probably better because the kids forget to throw the flowers sometimes.
They get distracted by anything. They're trying to get the daughter to go down the aisle. She does not want to do it. So she, as like a drunk fat Italian man, ducks her head down and just goes and makes it down the aisle. And everybody kind of claps and cheers. She goes, "Well, this is fun. Let me do it 25 more times." And her shoes are and they're just going on in the ceremony. And I'm thinking, at some point, someone's going to wrangle this thing.
Or just stick a foot out.
Well, I thought about doing that, but I don't know anybody there except for Grant. And it's nice to be wearing sunglasses outside too, so you don't have to. I'm like, so it's like a Family Guy skit though. It's funny for a minute, and then you're like, this needs to stop, and then it's real funny. And I don't think Grant having the margarita was mistake because Grant is giggling to where I'm like elbowing him, I'm like, stop it, stop, because then it's all everyone's laughing. You hear the kid behind us. We're all trying to watch, and you hear the kid. You're like, coming down this time, and it would run up and pull on the mom's dress, and then run back away, and everybody's just kind of letting it happen. I'm like, this is hilarious.
This is birth control.
But as we discussed with Grant Betting, before the everything starts, the groom's down there, and Grant goes, "I'll bet you $1." The groom cries. I was like, "I'll take that action." He's already married. I won.
At least he won one bet this week.
No, I won that bet.
No, that's yeah.
So he won some bets later on. But so it gets done. It's warm outside now this time of year. It's getting there. So I'm wearing a 3-piece suit. The well-dress got the way. No one else wore a vest. Suckers. But so I'm like, I'm burning up. I chugged this Moscow Mule. Doesn't help me from sweating after tequila and Moscow Mule. I go to use the restroom. Whew, I could have just hung out in there. It was 60 degrees in the restroom.
Oh, man.
I was just standing in there, and there was all kinds of there was trays an attendant would be in there, and so I didn't want to stand next to him, so I stood up against the wall, and my guy walked in, I was like, "What's up?" I'm just chilling, looking at my phone, and he goes to pee, and kind of looks at me, and washes his hands, looks at me, and walks out, and I was like, "Have a good one."
Yeah, see you later.
I'm friendly, but I don't want to meet everybody. Grant walks in, "Hey, Grant Nelson. Hey, Grant Nelson, uncle of the bride," and I'm like, "Oh, God. This is my friend Clint." I'm like, I'm not going to remember any people's names.
That's so funny because we were just reminiscing yesterday at work there was a building close to Huckapoo's, Doyle Landscaping.
I remember that.
So the front of their office faced the road, but they had this rando door in the back that was kind of tucked away. It was literally a one-off bathroom. You open the door, it's air conditioned. There's all the accoutrements in there. There's no attendant, but it was cold.
I remember.
Wet wipes, all that.
Yeah.
So a chilly bathroom during a hot...
Shout out to Mary, Liz, and Jason. They got married in August. In Savannah, if you're not from here, in August, it is 110 degrees at night.
Yes.
The humidity is 1,000%.
Yep.
It's how it worked out. They got married in August at Ships to the Sea Museum. Beautiful thing. Again, the bathroom is the spot to be. I go in there. I'm in there, in and out, hanging out. But third time I go in there, her father brought a chair in there and is chilling. I said, well, if he's going to do it, I'm going to do it. So I went and got a chair and sat there with him with David for 10 minutes, just talking, hanging out.
That's the thing. During a hot day at an event in a cold bathroom, I'm like, I don't care if you think I'm taking the worst shit in the world. If I'm doing drugs in here, I don't give a shit.
I'm doing all these things.
Yeah. Blame it on. Yeah.
You know what Liz did that was great? They had the ice cream man show up. They had a friend that mini ice cream truck that rolls around Savannah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If you're not familiar with Savannah, the Ships to the Sea Museum is right next to one of the projects. You start playing the ice cream man music and kids come out.
Yeah.
And so, but there's a wall. So the kids are like, hey. And it's 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night.
What a tease. They hear the ice cream man, but they got to look over this literal wall.
But we're over there like, oh my God, these popsicles are amazing. I'm not a popsicle person, but I was like, it's so hot. I don't care. I want a popsicle right now.
I'm going to boof this popsicle.
So back to Grant's wedding. So, as I said, they have a DJ. DJ Hot Potato.
That was Tater Tot. All right. Was he better than DJ Febreze?
Yes.
Okay, so
that wasn't hard to do, though.
So listeners to the show, if you remember, we had a DJ Febreze that played at the Huckapoo's Christmas party, and
he was not fresh.
He was not fresh.
Not fresh linen scent at all.
So
Hot Potato.
So Tater Tot
has a thing. Scan the QR code and send Hot Potato a request for a song. I'm like, oh, this is a bad idea for Hot Potato. He plays like instrumental ballads of popular songs for the first hour and a half. It's okay. However, I look over there.
I think that's appropriate.
He's mixing.
Wiki.
He's pretending. He's got hand over ear headphone, like he is concentrating on
he's
blending
mixing a
Forgot
Celine
About
Dion.
Dre with the instrumental version with the Rocky out thing.
It's the instrumental for My Heart Will Go On, and he thinks he's over there twisting knobs.
Yeah, and so I'm watching him. I'm like, God damn this guy. But they're gonna do the introduction of the entire wedding party.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Are you guys ready to have fun?" Oh God! It's like,
let's get ready.
It was like. Yeah, that was it.
All right, so I've officiated many weddings and I've DJ'd many weddings. There is a
you got to do that. I get you have to do that.
No, not the hype man thing. There is a system. You don't play certain stuff early on. Early on, you want it to be background music,
that was good. I'm not handling background music.
But then once the ceremony's over and people are ready to dance, then you start doing like the
and shockingly, this Marine wedding in Beaufort, South Carolina was a lot of white folks.
Hoorah.
And it was the average white people playlist for a wedding. I've worked legit 200 weddings easily. I've been to probably 50 weddings. I worked at 45 Beach Show. We did a lot of weddings there.
3 Doors Down, Love Me When I'm Here.
Yep.
Let's Get Married by...
No, that would have been great.
Shut up.
Brown Eyed Girl.
The best song they played.
Brown Eyed Girl? Okay, go ahead.
Brown Eyed Girl. Yeah,
Okay.
Twice. Backwards once.
Yeah. Okay.
The best song they played.
Okay.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
September?
September.
Oh, thank God.
Good. Okay.
That song came on, and I was like, I like this. Now, here's the thing. I'm not dancing because, one, I'm sober.
Yeah.
And everyone else is drinking. I'm like, no. And also, it's like, there was a lot of speeches that went on for a while. Grant cried during one of the speeches. This girl was pretty emotional.
Yeah.
And booty to meet. Anyways, it was, it was like one of her best friends had died in a car accident like a year ago. So she couldn't be there. So that was, and it was a whole, the girl talked as fast as I did doing her speech off her phone and was like, it was, I mean, I didn't cry, but like, my eyes were not dry. Like it was, I was like, I don't know anybody here or anything, but like just her emotion of like having met her as a friend 3 years ago and now they're friends because they're Marine wives. It was kind of sweet. So that goes for a while. And Grant's over there. Like I was kicking him during speeches like, hey, no, you're not part of this. Stop being the guy. And so the music starts. They played September. It was like the 5th song. The second best song they played was Uptown Funk. Let me know how bad the rest of these songs were. The third best song was Fergalicious.
Oh, God. They didn't even play and a little bit softer. And a little bit softer.
I left before that. I left before that happened.
Oh, they
were getting into it. Like, the conga line was happening as I was leaving, okay?
So dancing.
I saw it starting. It was coming towards me, and I ran to the other side of the room.
Dancing at white weddings, here's the thing. All right. I don't know if most people know this, and it's not racist of me to say, but white people at weddings don't dance very well.
The majority does not. However, someone's got to dance first. Shout out to my boy Grant for going, I'm going to get this party started.
He's breaking the line, going out.
The thing is, there's like 3 country songs in a row, so it's just kids jumping around. No one's dancing. And he's trying to get his uncle's wife to go dance. And he goes, look, the next song, we're going out. The next song I can dance to. The next song was, I Don't Want No Scrubs. So Grant's on the dance floor with a 75-year-old lady. Like, she doesn't know how to dance. Grant kind of does a little bit. He's trying to, but they're trying to like waltz. They're trying to do the waltz. I don't want no scrubs.
And I'm not tooting my own hood horn right here, but as a white person,
you know every word of that song. I do.
When I'm at a white wedding, I choose not to dance because I don't want people to be embarrassed by basic rhythm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I can dance, and the thing is, if I'm at a wedding for long enough, I'm gonna dance, and I don't mind breaking the mold. And the thing is, I'm dancing. Old ladies.
And I'm not dancing to some garbage music. If you play something.
September, I'd have gotten out there if I wasn't about to leave.
Right.
And very warm. Very warm.
You got to play something that's, speaking of crying, I have to mention this because it literally just happened earlier today. I was watching a clip. So I go on YouTube sometimes and I watch so many clips of just random like movies and stuff. So I hadn't seen La Bamba.
Hadn't seen a whole movie in 30 years. This guy
I haven't seen La Bamba in forever. You remember La Bamba? Richie Valens or whatever the guy.
Frankie.
Huh?
Frankie Valens?
No, it's Richie Valens, but Lou Diamond Phillips.
Lou Diamond Phillips, that guy.
So I watched this little clip, and it's when they play it over the radio that he did a coin flip, whether he rode in the plane or the bus. And
that's right.
And he got on the
Big Bopper.
Brother, I fucking shed a tear. I was like, I'm not even like hungover or like, it was real as fuck though.
I mean, I cry.
We cry.
Yeah.
Clint and I actually,
we'll cry. We'll cry. Hey, look,
we cry.
I cry.
We cry.
Yeah.
We cry.
Real men cry. Real everyone cries. Stop pretending like you don't cry.
Usually just in the morning.
But I mean, the speeches were great. They were quick. But one thing that did suck, I felt bad. So the girl that got married, it was Grant's niece. She's a step niece technically, but his brother and her mom got married when she was like 5.
Yeah.
And her real father has like 8 kids by like 6 women, and is also best friends with Joey Fatone.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's interesting.
He's no DMX. 17 kids by
or no, Chris Brown. Not Chris Brown. God was married to Mariah Carey. That guy.
Nick Cannon?
Nick Cannon's got like a shitload of kids.
Oh wow.
Like a whole gang of them.
Yeah.
Like a football team.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
with back
so her birth mother goes up there, gives a little speech. The groom's father goes in there and gives a speech. Maid of honor, best man. The second maid of honor who gave the very heartfelt speech.
That's a lot of speeches, actually.
But they're all mentioning Grant's brother, as being her dad and her mom. No one's saying anything about this poor guy Joel, who's her birth father, and he is sitting at the table right, and he's sitting.
He's there.
He's there, and I'm watching him, and he's getting further and further. No one's saying anything about him, or like, "Hey, Joel, want to come talk?"
Why?
Father of the groom didn't know he was going to be.
Why was he there anyways?
Because he's still her father. He didn't help. He didn't. He wasn't.
Who invited him though?
His daughter invited him to her wedding.
Okay, so she invited him.
Yeah, but they weren't like, "Want to come here and talk?" Because I guess he didn't really help raise her at all.
No, that's what I'm saying.
So
the way
like,
you're describing him, he doesn't seem like.
But people kept mentioning everyone else in her life, but this dude sitting there, I just see him just stewing, and it's like, "Hey, buddy, you could have probably tried a little more instead of hanging out with Joey Fatone, who was the 4th member of NSYNC. I thought he was the Backstreet Boys. I couldn't remember which one."
I'm glad you knew who he was.
Grant told me I didn't know.
Well, no, I'm just glad you ended up finding out.
So I met Joel through Graham. Like I met her step,
so that you could pay attention to watch his decision.
Yeah. When his parents, like her grandparents were there, her biological grandparents, and they both, biological father and stepfather, walked her down the aisle together, and it was a pretty wedding. It was nice. It was at a pretty good venue. It was I enjoyed it. I would have enjoyed it more because here's what Clint did. It's about 6:30 and everyone's having a good time. And Clint's having. I'm socializing with Grant's mom mostly and like his brother, but I'm like everyone's just hammering drinks. And Grant's like I wasn't drinking a lot of just Mick Ultras. Like they don't count. He kept saying. He kept saying all day.
For a lot of people they don't, but for some people they do.
But if the cops pull you over and you had 8 of them, it counts.
He's like, no, they were just Mick Ultras. Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Right along, please escort this man.
I'm sorry, sir. Give him his license
Give
back.
this guy $20, let him go.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm like, man, let me just look and see how much this Uber would be. And it was $66 at that point. I was like, damn, I don't leave the Beamer here, but damn.
That's
because Richard was on his way to Savannah, having to go back to Charleston. Richard was like, I could have dropped you off. I'm like, you don't understand, Richard. Beaufort is not on your way to Charleston.
Yeah, no. It's
not on your way to anywhere.
It's not on the way to anywhere except a wedding.
Yeah, and so I was like, God, I could have. The thing is, next time I've got $65 cab money, and I regret it, and I'll do it next time. I'll just take the cab.
I would assume
I'd have paid $100.
I would assume that the starting price would be $100, and like for some of our listeners who aren't familiar with the area, it's like it's a bitch driving over there. So that would be like. Yeah, I figured that would be
a 50-mile drive from my house, but literally, if I had a helicopter, it's like a 12-mile ride at the maybe.
And a boat, it's a 10-mile ride.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. So, in the second half, though, we'll get into why I'm kind of glad I didn't drink because my night went on and on and on. Like Grant's only in town for a little bit of time, and last time he was here, I had COVID, so we couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and
so we were going to go out and live it up some.
Yeah,
and so I, having this period of sobriety. is good. And my buddy Richard, I love you, Richard, but I was like, Richard, you can't drink till I get to my house.
Period is. I was on my sobriety period. I couldn't drink.
We talked about sobriety last week, and that was my period sobriety.
So we're gonna try some new things out this week because we Clint and I talked last night, and we had
our Sunday work meeting.
Yeah, our Sunday.
Because Grant was like, I'm getting ready to go to bed. I was like, cool, I gotta have my work meeting with Paxton. He's like, is he coming over? I was like, no. So then I tell him we're gonna have a meeting. We go outside. We've had a few, smoke a little cigarette or whatever. And my neighbor came home. He was like, Paxton here now? I was like, yeah, I'm going to go get the door. He's like, really? I was like, no. This isn't. One, he rarely leaves the island. Two, he leaves the island at 11:30.
After I've worked and drank.
Yeah.
So we were workshopping this idea. We do the Karen of the week. So Clint posited that we do a quote of the week. And I was like, well, that's funny because I definitely had a quote of the week this week that I had heard before. So for our new segment, it's the quote of the week. I made that today. A lot of effort. You could tell.
He's like, that works for me.
Yeah, I sent it to him.
So I've got one that involves Grant.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you go first, and I'm going to leave that because it'll lead in the second half.
Okay, so the quote of the week, what we brainstormed was, it's either just something funny that someone said that you had never heard before, or it could be a quote out of context, and you have to guess what the person meant. So
it tasted weird to me, but I still smelled it.
So right. So luckily yesterday, I had one. This is
before we talked about this, too.
This is before we talked about this, too. So this is a very good regular of mine. I love this guy. And I've heard him shoot the shit and chop it up. And he's not Al.
I know who it is already.
He's not Al. No, you don't.
Okay.
He's not Al with the quips and
I don't know him?
No, yeah. Oh. I don't think you know him. He's not Al with the quips or anything like that. But so he's talking to this lady who ended up being my Karen of the week, but not my Karen. She was a Karen to everyone else around me. But he goes, give me 1 second, honey.
Karen.
He goes, give me 1 second, honey. I got to go shake hands with my best friend.
I know exactly what he meant.
Now, I've never heard this before, and I'm like, I'm sure someone's probably heard this. Do you have an idea what he meant, Kelly?
Yes, I do.
Do you have an idea what he meant?
His dick.
Yes, he had to go pee.
Yeah.
I'd never heard that
before.
I'd never heard that before. He goes, I got to go shake hands with my best friend. I realized what he was.
I think it was a military. Like my grandfather told that to me when he was in the army.
See, the only military shit I get is like, where's the head or where's the can? And I'll hear people go, hey, where's the head? Where's the can to other people? And they're like, do you want like a spittoon?
Do you want a blowjob?
Do you want actual head?
My dad was a Navy guy. It was always the head. Every
yeah. But did he say shake hands with beef or shake hands with his best friend?
No, not that way. But as far as
shake hands with beef,
that's a Primus song.
That's what I'm doing when I get home. Shake hands with beef.
Primus song. All right,
and Palmer and their 5 sisters, all that.
Okay, so we after we get back, we go out drinking with a bunch of friends. I'll tell you who they are later on in the next segment. But so in this drinking journey, there is 5 Ubers taken or Lyfts or whatever, and so. And each ride is a different experience with the driver. Because there's 4 to 7 of us involved in each of these rides.
And depending on who decides to ride shotgun and be the lead on who...
You know who rides shotgun every time? You goddamn right Clint does.
You goddamn right Paxton does too. I just use third person. Look at me. I'm Clint now.
Because here's the thing. If the guy's in the back getting rowdy, I can 1, calm them, and 2, I can distract him. And I won't be up there just a dead weight. Yeah. And no matter how drunk we are, I still sound the most sober because I just talk through it. Yeah. So it's like, oh, I'm the cat wrangler.
And I enjoy, all right, I don't like social interactions with actual people that are cool and my friends.
But a stranger you can leave and never see again?
But a stranger, I will live
I'm
in
also
the
hunting for drivers. I have a driver named Mary, who's a sweetheart, who I met one time driving me to Tybee. You
want to build a relationship.
Well, and I was like, hey, what are you making on this ride? She's like, well, what did it charge you? I was like, $18. She's like, I get like 11. And I was like, do you want 40 to come back and pick us up later? She's like, hell yeah. And so I still use her to this day.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for more of those drivers.
Sure.
So I'm constantly evaluating drivers.
Yeah.
And I'll interact with one at 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, this is a great one. Then I wake up the next day, I'm like, oh, that guy. But so we're in our 4th of 5 Ubers.
Okay.
The best one. And it's a Hyundai Elantra. Me, V, Richard, Grant. Me and V shouldn't be in a holiday launcher together alone.
Just you two.
Yes. And so I'm like, V, you got to get in the front. I mean, I'm in the back. Like, we put Grant in the middle. Grant's shoulder's on top of my shoulder. He's all. I mean, we're in there. The most comfortable ride we had all goddamn night. The driver was cool as shit. Yeah. But we were talking about, we got to talk about what Grant does. And he's like, well, how'd you come to SCAD? He goes, well, I probably couldn't get in Grant got a scholarship to SCAD because he started doing figure drawing when he was in the 7th and 8th and 9th grade. Most people were drawing fruit, bottles,
portrait,
just still life.
But
he was learning how to draw humans, and so that helped him get into SCAD on a scholarship. And then a minute and a half goes by, and Grant's back there trying to screw with his phone, which he couldn't figure out how to turn off the sound the phone makes. Uh-huh. And I had to show him how to do it. I was like, Grant, you were just terrible at technology. And he goes, I can draw naked women or men, and I get paid for it. I don't have to use technology.
I'm with that.
That's the quote. That's the quote. I can draw naked women and I get paid for it. I don't have to use technology.
I don't need technology. I can draw.
Hey, it works.
Hey,
but I'll give you some context for where we are in the second half because we were.
And he's very good at what he does too.
It works.
And so just along in that vein before we get to the break, drink of the week. And the drink of the week for me is my idea of it is something I've never heard before, which is kind of rare.
Or could it be like a different name for a drink you've heard before, like a blue helicopter versus?
This is like no because misnaming something that is already exists.
We're just changing the name of it because it's a regional name.
This is something that I've never ever made before, but it's in a vein of something I have made before.
Okay.
Young group comes up. They goes, "Could we have 4 black teas?" I was like, "Okay, I'm interested." I know a white tea. I know a green tea.
Can I wager a guess? Does it have? Is the base Kahlua?
The base is different.
Not Kahlua though.
It's not Kahlua. The base is different.
Does it look black?
Huh?
Does it look black?
It was light. It was gray.
Does it have Coke in it?
It was gray. No, no. All the base ingredients were the same except for the main liquor.
Dark rum.
No.
Jaeger.
Motherfucking Jägermeister. And I poured it for him, and they're like, "Oh, that looks disgusting." I was like, "That's what you ordered."
Did you try one?
Fuck no. I did.
I said, bitch.
But then they drank it and they were fine. Obviously they ordered it with confidence.
Misplaced.
I had black tea before the podcast. It's just like Jaeger.
Well, I was like black tea.
I don't want a whole shot, but I want a sip.
I said black tea. Is it like a green tea but with? And they were like, yeah, same thing, just Jaeger. Very confidently. I was like, okay, it's your wedding or funeral, but
it's your trip to the hospital, not mine.
I didn't see him again. All right. Well, we'll save the rest for the second half, and we'll see you in a minute.
See you then.
Ever wanted to start a podcast? Don't have the equipment or the know-how? Well, we've got you covered. From Behind the Barcast is expanding into the commercial studio space. You see, step 1 is making sure you sound great, because no matter how good your content may be, people don't want to listen to something that sounds like this. From Behind the Barcast and Paxton Eugene Productions now offer in-studio audio and video production. Or the studio can come to you. We offer mobile podcast production from wherever you are. Now, with the hard part out of the way, there's no excuse for you not to get started. So if you're in the Savannah area, shoot us an email at FromBehindTheBarcast@gmail.com for details and a quote. Again, that's FromBehindTheBarcast@gmail.com, and let's get your voice heard.
Damn, they got cans of wine in this guy's stuff? All right.
And welcome back to From Behind the Barcast. We had a nice little break there. A
little more jazz snacks.
A little more jazz snacks. This time I paired the prosciutto with the provolone, and then crushed the rest of my Freakshow wine.
Micheal David wines. Yeah, so I was introduced to Micheal David wines by my buddy Richard, who I'm going to talk about on the Patreon. If you know Richard, you'll understand why, because Richard could be that kind of guy, but I want to keep it private because I love the guy. But it was called Petite, was his first big wine. So Petite Syrah and Petite Verdot.
This guy.
Micheal David, yeah.
Okay.
His first big wine was Petite, and it was Petite Verdot and Petite Syrah. And so that's two big, bold, inky wines. but it was like
Inky. I've never heard it said that way, but that seems appropriate.
And it was like $13 a bottle at the time, and it was for the price was fantastic. Now there's like 2025. He's gotten pretty popular. The Freakshow has taken off, but he's got the carnival and all this stuff. It's like there's a guy in Australia who has all his wines are named after boxing terms.
Right, gotcha.
The pugilist, the left hand, the hook, the headbutt, the ear bite, all those fun names.
That's not pugilism.
That's
the
cannibalism is what it is.
The nihilist, via nihilist.
So where we left you.
Where were we? The Last of Us.
I was coming back from the wedding. Okay, we leave the wedding. I'm like, Grant, ready to go? Grant's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. 20 minutes. I'm like, so 45. And boy, it was
just a reminder. Grant, our artist friend from New Orleans, he was on the podcast earlier.
Yeah, it's niece's wedding, so he knows some people there, but Grant wants to meet everybody because he's a nice guy, and he's like, "Oh, it's my friend Clint." I'm like, and like I'm not drinking, and I'm walking around in this 3-piece suit, and people are looking at me weird. I'm like, I wonder if people think I'm his security guy. Like I'm his
or a fucking undercover cop.
And I had a small. Look, we get out of the car, it starts to drizzle. His mom, we see his mom for the first time. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put this umbrella in my pocket for his mom in case she needs it. So I have this tiny umbrella, but it looks like I've got. Every time I sit down, I move it around like my pockets and stuff.
Like your carry,
but I never pull it out.
Carry.
So it's like, what does this guy have over here? And like, it's a Marine wedding, so I'm getting looks from these Marines who still had pimples. Like I went upstairs, I was like, I'm the oldest guy here because Grant was like, there's gonna be some talent here, and I'm like, look around, I'm like, there's talent here. I could be their parent.
Right? Yeah.
So we leave I'm like, Grant, we got to go. All right, Grant, we got to go. He's trying to find his one cousin to say bye to. We look everywhere for his cousin. Can't find him, and I just want to go, so I'm looking everywhere, and I go pee. I'm like, there is a guy in the stall, and Grant goes, wonder if it's him. Grant goes to take a piss. It's his cousin. He wants to see. Say bye to. I was like, you give him a hug. He goes, he just came out the goddamn bathroom. I'm not gonna hug him right there. He just took a shit, and the kid's like 16. So we wait. We say bye. Grant says bye to 6 more people again. I'm like, all right, let's go. I want to get home. And I told him
opposite of the Irish goodbye. That's the Southern sayonara.
Yeah, God, Jesus, sayonara. Anyway, so I want to get home and have some fun. We're gonna go out with my buddy V, Richard, Scuba, go meet Vinny.
So you're gonna be back in Savannah at a time where you could still go out in the evening.
Which is why I'm glad I didn't. If I had drank it and taken the Uber home, our evening would have been a little earlier because I would have, ushered us home.
Sure.
So we're about to my house. I'm like, Grant, when we get home, here's the plan. We're already like an hour behind. I want to get moving. Richard's there sober. When I come in the house, Greg's like, I got to poop. I'm like, me too. So, we had a lot of barbecue at the wedding. Fire-ass mac and cheese too. I'm like, look, you and Richard are going to go to the store and get pizzas or something for us to eat when we get back. It's easy. Otherwise, I'm going to be making Ann's macaroni and cheese shells with black beans and thawed chicken. And,
I got a can of corn in there somewhere.
I'm going to cook something. We're eating when we get back. And let's just make it easier.
I'm forcing you to eat.
DiGiorno's croissant crust pepperoni pizza. If you haven't had the croissant crust,
oh wow,
it was fantastic. But I'd like to do this patent pending right now. Croissant crust somehow with cheese in there too. Cheesy croissant crust.
Oh,
would
like
be
stuffed crust.
Stuffed croissant crust. Oh God. Anyways, my butter will go away eventually for that one. But so I'm like, you guys go do this. I'll get the Uber. I go to Lyft. 17 minutes, save $5. Hit it. All right. Do some stuff. Look at my phone. Your driver's 3 minutes away. Ah! So they're right back. I'm trying to, and then my dog walker, Harrison, shows up.
You're at home waiting
I'm at home for them. I'm changing clothes. My dog walker, Harrison, who walked in when I was in the shower a few weeks ago, it opens the door. He's like, hello. I'm like, hey, oh. I haven't seen this guy since the first time he walked my dog with me. So I'm like, oh, good to see you. I had told him we might be there because we were in between transition, and like it was worth the $20 not to walk my dog. And he takes on a 30-minute walk. So
Which is dope, yeah.
Which is dope. I'll come back to that for tomorrow because I use it again. So we get in the cab, go downtown. V and Steven V doesn't get to enjoy life a lot because he's traveling a lot. So when he's home, he's going to have a good time. I'm like, hey, where are you guys at? Heading downtown. I'm like, where are you going? He goes, downtown. I'm like, cool, us too. Meet you downtown. So I get downtown, and he's like, where is it? I'm downtown. He's like, where downtown? I'm like, downtown. Because I'm just giving him shit back for not being like, where'd you send your Uber to? Like, where's your destination?
Yeah.
So we meet up. We go to Social Club to see Vinny. And we hang out there, and we walk in, and it is, usually the crowd there is like mid-20s. This was like, I was IDing people I looked at. Everybody was young.
You were IDing people for the door guys.
Yeah. It was, like, hey. It was a young, very raucous crowd. And we're having a pretty good time. I'm like, look, guys, my plan was we should have either done this. We were going to come to Tybee because of the some sort of incident with traffic, we couldn't go.
Yeah.
We'll bridge that gap later.
We'll bridge that gap later.
But so we
on
decided,
another episode.
Yeah, another episode. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go to Wilmington and go to the Lawn Mower Bar, the Island Sports Bar. I don't know why they call it a sports bar. There was sports happening there, so there were cornhole and Jenga. But I was like, let's just go there. And they're like, I don't know. And V's like, let's go back to the house and we'll, smoke up a little bit. Richard goes, I haven't rolled a blunt forever. Can I do it? I'm like, go ahead, Mr. Chemist. Richard. Hadn't rolled a blunt in over a decade. It wasn't perfect. Like I did a little surgery on it.
Yeah.
But all in all, for having been a decade off rolling a blunt, he did better than you did with that joint.
Shut up, man. I was about to brag on myself for never smoking, but if I get the opportunity to roll a blunt, I think I do pretty well.
So we get back to the house, there's 5 of us there, and I'm like, he's like, yeah, roll a blunt before we leave. I'm like, oh, I'm rolling this blunt, aren't I? Because I just knew that it was Grant doesn't really smoke that much. And so I was like, I'll do this. And Richard's like, I can do it. I'm like, cool. Which gives Richard something to do for 20 minutes and not drink. More on that in the Patreon. So, this is now we've Uber ride from this is our second Uber ride. So we rode downtown with a guy, Uber ride back. Guy's got like a nice SUV with fold down seats, but our drunk friends go, fold down seats? No, I'll crawl through the back. The guy's like,
God, come on, man.
Guys. So I'm like, we get out, guys, the seats fold down. We get out. He was probably the worst Uber of the night, but whatever. We go to V's house, get a next Uber, which was the cooler Uber driver, not the coolest one. We go, it was the cool guy. So we go from there to the Lawn Mower Bar. We call it the Lawn Mower Bar because it used to be a lawnmower shop. We all grew up in Wilmington Island. It was a lawnmower place. And so we call it the Lawn Mower Bar.
And they've changed nothing about the
backyard.
structure.
No, it's the same place.
Yeah.
They may have put a stall door on the bathroom.
Right,
That's about
exactly,
it.
yeah.
And so we get there and they're like, this is going to be lame. We had the best time there. We have a great time. And so out back, it's a pretty good sized bar inside. They have, enough room where there's 2 cornhole games happening inside and 2 pool tables.
I used to do an open mic there. It's plenty spacious inside.
Yeah. But it's one of those places you go where you're like, hey, good to see you. Hey, good to see you. Oh, sorry, I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
So you see a friend. I saw a buddy of mine, I'm not going to mention his name, who was so drunk, he looked right through me from 5 feet away twice. His girlfriend works with you. Her name is 2 names. I'll let you figure that out for yourself. And I was like, and I saw her. She was hugging me. He was like, he's right there. And I'm like, hey. And he's like, so I approached. I was like, hello. He's like, oh my God. Hey, we're going to the the new bar. And I was like, I'm not going anywhere with you guys. Like, oh, we're going to walk. I'm like, definitely not going there. I've got this herd of cats outside. I'm not going anywhere. So we go out back, smoke a cigarette. And I'm like, we can smoke the rest of the blunt out here. They're like, really? Yeah, they're pretty friendly about that. Which is, look, it's back in 2023.
Yeah.
You should be able to smoke a blunt outside of a bar. It's not crazy crowded, and
especially if it's in the back of the bar.
And the back of the bar is huge.
Yeah,
it's a backyard. You have lawnmowers.
Back in 2007, when I had the studio downtown, I would go to not Frozen Paradise, but the other Island Breeze or something like that. Right. The outside blunt smoking area in 2007 was bigger than the entire bar inside. So we would go out back, and I didn't smoke obviously, but I would go out back and I'd be like, because we were making beats for all these rappers. And what they would do is at Island Breeze, they would do lip sync contests, except it wasn't a traditional lip sync contest.
Rap sync?
They would do their own songs.
Okay.
So they would play their own beats and then rap over them. And that's where I met like 80% of the future clientele that I had for the studio down there.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, even in 2007.
So people are getting blunted and you're just standing around.
I'm standing around like, though, you guys want some beats from a white guy?
Acid and you're not. Yeah. You still get a little high somehow.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, I make beats right across the street.
And they're like, sure you do, buddy.
But then they came over and heard them hot fire beats. I sold a bunch of beats over there.
From across the street.
So there's a guy in my wine. I've been over here trying to clip him out, but I can't get him because I don't have a straw. And there is legit a bug floating in this wine. Oh.
Got him.
And ate him. Don't know why.
We're culinary experts.
Thanks, Weed. So we're out back. We're talking. We're hitting this blunt. We're all not all of us smoke. I'm not gonna say who doesn't, but not all of us smoke. So some of us are really high, and some of us are not. And this raccoon just walks from around the side of the building towards us with no fear of anything. It gets like 8 feet away, and everyone decides, Richard, who's already missing part of his thumb, he lopped off with a timing belt in the car, working on a car drinking one day. Not a good idea. He's now the safety manager of a chemistry plant, though, so all's good. And we're like, Richard, go pet him. He's like, no, I go, you've got insurance. It's fine. Raccoon heard insurance, ran right away.
He's like, I don't fuck with nobody with damn
I'm like, this is the kind of bar we're at. So there's a Jenga, the adult size Jenga.
Yeah, like the 2x4
And
Jenga.
So, Grant and Richard start playing. They're like, V, get in here. V's like, I don't play Jenga. Jenga's lame. I don't like Jenga. And we're like, dude, play Jenga. He's like, I'm like, you're a mechanical engineer. You'll be good at Jenga. He's like, this game looks stupid. So after about, 10 minutes watching us play, he filled up that. He goes, let me try this. V loves Jenga now. Loves Jenga now. And amazing at it, as I knew he would be.
Fucking dare.
So we're playing, and then there's this, Grant wants to be friends with everybody. It's like at the bar next door, the bar that stayed over. So he's talking to everybody who's walking by.
So he's like the Wink of New Orleans.
But less, also half ginger, but less intense.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Doesn't seem like he will bite you and you'll bleed weird.
Okay. Like a Komodo dragon. He bites you
it's
all
a Winkmodo dragon. I like a Winkmodo dragon.
That's a website, Winkmodo.
It is. So there's this guy in work boots over there who didn't even work Saturday, but he still got his work boots on, hanging out. His name was James. I'd never seen James before. I've only been to this bar a few times, but it's been a pretty good time. For Wilmington Island bars, it's great. And so Grant's like, come over here and hit one out. And this guy goes over and goes, I don't know if I'm very good at this game. And he just karate chops one of the boards out of the Jenga thing. He just goes, whack, and knocks it out. He didn't touch anything. He hadn't been playing. I don't know if he was watching, but he walked over and the board is, we have 3 single beams together. So this thing's going down at any minute. He walks over and just chops one out of there, picks it up, puts it on top, and walks second side. And I'm like, who is this guy? So we all take a turn, and we're all like sweating. He comes back out. We're like, James, your turn.
Shut up.
Again. Chops the board out. He walks over and he goes, Pya! And I'm like, wah! And I'm like, so it happens. The game ends. Somebody else messes it up. It wasn't me. I didn't lose a single game or win. Then, I guess if you don't lose, you win. And so we step more up. Grant's like, gotta find James. He's like, James goes, I'll go last. 4 more times. Shwa, shwa, shwa.
Same method every time.
One time he did a lap or two, but he never touched anything. He would just go, boom. One time, it was the middle one. He was like, he like throat punched it.
He's like James Holtzauer from Jeopardy.
He's the idiot savant of Jenga.
He's the physician, mathematician who was like, instead of starting at the $200 questions, I'm going to start at the $1,000 questions.
That's where I always said I would start.
And double down.
Always start at the bottom.
So,
and double up, yeah.
Speaking of that,
this was my strategy as a kid.
Yesterday at Pooh's, Bobo was out there. Now, Bobo, if you know him, he's really good at the ring toss.
He's great.
Somebody challenged him to a ring toss contest. So Bobo starts. There's basketball. There's basketball games playing. All of a sudden, there's these giant cheers, and I'm like, who scored? No, it's people cheering for Bobo. Bobo's gotten so good at this point that this other dude, it's 14-4 right now. Bobo walks up, throws the ring, turns his back, and walks away before it ever hits the fadeaway. Everyone in my bar is just enamored with this guy.
It's like Georgia won the national championship again. Everybody's like, yeah!
He does like these over-the-shoulder blind tosses.
He does my favorite is the throw that like it goes in 4 different directions.
The 3 loop.
It goes behind and around him, then to his left, loops back around to his right, spins back around, and then lands on the hook, and you're like, okay, you've won. So game's over for you. Why are you still playing?
So then I'm telling people, I'm like...
you got a hole in one on every hole, Bobo.
I'm like, I love it when bands play, and the guitar player's like shredding a real hard guitar lead. All of a sudden, there's this giant cheer from a crowd. Guitar player looks up.
Bobo.
It's Bobo landing the ring toss outside. He thinks it's for his... for his shredding guitar solo.
He's pretty good at cornhole too, by the way.
Yeah. So, so back to Jenga James. Jenga James. I'm like, this guy's a god, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm out of here, guys. I'm leaving. And as people do on bars and a lot of islands, he didn't leave. He went inside and had 2 drinks, came back outside. Besides to play ping pong with our buddy Justin Fulcher. Justin's pretty goddamn good at ping pong. He's very quick, agile, little fella. He's good. He's good. Well, James is only good at one thing, and it's Jenga, because he's just getting greased in ping pong. Greased. And I'm like, James, do drunk play ping pong? He's probably shut it. Jenga walks by, slaps one out, and keeps going. Didn't even pick it up. I'm like, God damn, this guy is good at just this. So this is happening. So my crew is like, it's like Bobo. And Grant, of course, the biggest cheerleader.
But I think
everyone's losing their mind.
I think it's deserved, though, if someone can come up so casually
and just chop one out.
I mean, I've chopped one out before, but not like that.
Yeah. So everyone, now we're hype, and it's getting a little late. And I don't know if you ever tried to control V, Richard, and Grant at the same time. But have you ever tried to herd 3 cats with 2 arms? Yeah, I should have taken my shoes off so I could use my toes to grab the other one. I'm trying to get at one point, everyone's a problem. Not a big problem, but everyone's just kind of, and like, it's not too bad, but it's a Grant wants to talk to everybody. Richard wants to run into everything. V's actually doing great. V's just as high as shit.
Yeah.
Well, no, because he'll be like, let me buy you a shot. If you want to aggressively try to buy people stuff, he's like, I'm buying you a shot. You're like, I don't want. Okay, I'll do it.
Okay, yes, sir.
Whatever you want. But like, it's hurting goddamn cats.
You should have called James out. Be like, hey, I need help with my friends. Will you karate chop my friends to get ready?
So we get everybody ready to go. Like, all right, we're inside. All of our cabs are on the way. I have lied about. I've used V's phone and my phone to get him a cab, me a cab. I have cut everyone's cab time in half so we can get outside sooner. Thinking, because it's getting to the point where I'm like, the longer we stay, the higher the odds of some sort of negative interaction.
A kerfuffle.
I'm going to be coming back here. The 3 of them, V will probably come back there, but Richard and Grant probably not.
Yeah, you'll be the only person that returns there at some point.
And anytime soon. And I know a lot of people there, but these 2 guys are playing pool, and Grant's like, I bet $1 this guy wins. And then he's over there hype manning every shot, talking shit. We don't know them. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, man, we're almost home.
Yeah.
And
there's
so,
literally an Uber on the way.
And so Grant is like, it's fine. I'm like, you're telling me things are fine. I was like, I'm going to come back here. If we're in another bar room to go to again, I don't care. But if Grant starts a kerfuffle, and a brouhaha, if you will.
A Donnybrook,
we're comparing who's going to carry a larger percentage of the weight of said brouhaha. I am carrying the majority of the weight. V is going to be carrying the majority of the weight. I look over, and V is outside to get his cab. So Clint is now carrying double the weight he was going to carry before. I'm like, look, I don't want to do this. They've got weapons. I don't know them. I mean, my buddy Brian. It's just everything's been great, guys.
Yeah, no need for it.
And Grant goes, fine. I'm just going to give him $1 he won, and he makes a dick dollar and puts it on the bar. A dick dollar?
Of course.
And the guy goes, this is what you think of me? And you know who that sounds like? That sounds like a goddamn.
It kind of sounds like.
Oh, shit. It's the Karen of the week. It's the Karen of the week.
So normally, it's my time to let my soul glow. But you know who's going to let their soul glow tonight?
We are going to change
Sunset
things.
Kelly.
We're going to change things a little bit
And
this
if you're going to
week.
want to see this, you're going to have to see this on social media because it's only going to be exclusive there. And, it might make it into the YouTube in a little clip. But other than that, Sunset Karen has back-to-back weeks. A Karen of the week.
A Karen of the week, and his Karen of the week is so good this week that
He's leading the show.
We wanted to start with it because I think it will induce a larger discussion,
like all Karens do.
So we get calls. We take all comers traditionally and all that, and I get a call and
Breezy Cab,
and so she says, we're coming from a wedding. We're across from Tim's bike shop, and all that. So I'm thinking the chapel. And all that. So a little miscommunication. She's at the South End Tim's.
So there's a chapel pretty much across the street from Pooh's. And
it's And it's between Pooh's and the studio.
And then there's a Tim's bike shop right across from the chapel.
Yeah.
But there's also another Tim's bike shop.
Satellite shop down front.
Down on the other end of the aisle.
Yeah. So and traditionally when things slow down, somebody will take the phone in the night just to kind of button things up.
So one of the other drivers or the owners?
Yeah, catch the bartenders, that kind of thing, and this and that. So we just kind of do a little cleanup and this and that. So usually it's pretty uneventful. But this particular moment, so she calls back. She goes, I don't see you. I'm like, look, I'm literally in front of Tim's bike shop. Anyway, we sort it. She's down in the South End. I get
you
there.
You were at the wrong Tim's.
Yes.
I mean,
but in the meantime, I'm doing Breezy Jr Ride-A-Long program.
Oh, that's always fun. I've been there.
It's for at-risk people that need some affirmation and all. But good people, good hearts, and all that. But
I haven't been on it in probably at least mine will be like taking everybody else home. Take me home last.
Well, let me give a little prequel to this. So sometimes people will hop into the cab and they're ready to go home, but they're not necessarily ready to go home at that moment. So they'll go on a few fares.
Yeah. If you don't have to drop me off, can I just ride around?
Oh, see, I'm like, just take me home last. Or like, I mean, I'm more friendly with most of you guys, so sometimes I'll hang out in the cab. There's one driver, won't mention his name, smokes a lot of weed though, and so he and I, again, will not bridge this name. He'll be like, "You want a chicken for a minute?" I'm like, yeah. So I'll just hang out because usually I'm not alone. So when I'm alone, I'm like, "Hey,
last night I made sure I got in the cab with Kelly before he went to pick other people up because I'm not the ride-along guy. But so
you are literally the least ride-along guy.
Yeah.
So it's a guy that we know that is doing a bit of a ride-along with you. And he's a very nice, cool guy.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't, trying to cause any problems and all that, but, like anybody when they're doing Breezy Jr., they're curious. They're inquisitive. They want to talk to people. Hey, where are you from? All this sort of stuff. So I finally tracked down the squad at the South End Thames and all that, and they're apprehensive already about getting in the car because there's another dude in the car. So I rolled down the window. I was like, hey, it's cool. Get in the car. We're all going the same way and this and that. It's 3 of them. 2 of them are fine. And then there's the one.
What would we call her?
What would we call her?
Bitch. So
Karen, yes.
So, she gets in the car,
Is it Karen and 2 guys or?
It's Karen and a guy and a girl. So it's like her boyfriend.
It's a couple and another.
Yeah, and a girl and all that.
A couple and Karen. Karen's alone? That's weird.
The guy and her friend, or I guess maybe her boyfriend, unfortunately, fine. No, nothing there. But this girl gets in and, breezies are crusty. They are what they are. We don't stop people's good time. You want to smoke in the cab, you want to drink in the cab, all that sort of stuff and all that. So she remarks on that even before the door closes, like, this car is disgusting. I'm like,
and people are used to traditional cabs and Ubers,
sure,
where it's like,
Yeah, and if they could have got Uber, they would have at this point, but they got our number.
But Breezy is a typey company.
Yes.
We don't stop your good time. No. You can smoke and drink inside there.
Absolutely.
And it's $5 a person plus tip, please.
Yeah, that was something else when we got to the end of it. So Breezy Jr Ride-A-Long buddies, just being nice, trying to help, which traditionally makes my job harder. It just does. But I know people want to help, and
people want to be advocates for you. And we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
I'll have people at my bar, and if someone doesn't tip me, a friend of mine will be sitting next to them, and they'll start to give them shit like, "Oh, you're not going to tip them." I'm like, "Hey, don't need the advocacy."
Look, they also could have tipped me earlier, big
or they might tip me later. But trust me, I can handle this.
But we're not really even going that far. Maybe just kind of over behind.
You're on Tybee. It's only a 5-minute ride.
We're just going behind Coxburg, and so we're riding along. She's just like, "So is this what you do for a living?" I'm like, "Well, this is how I pay my bills." And she goes, "Oh, okay." I was like, but me and Breezy Jr Ride-A-Long, we're just having a good time. We're laughing, we're giggling, and all that. And
you guys having your own conversation?
Yeah, but
that's what I do. I'm riding along. I'm like, we're just talking.
Well, sometimes when people are being nasty, it is slightly entertaining.
Yeah.
You laugh it off.
This bit's called the Karen of the week.
you really don't. You just don't get it.
Yeah.
So I commented. I was like, I'm just a beach bum having a good time. She goes, "No, you're not a beach bum. You're just lazy and don't want to work hard."
Karen.
I was like, "Excuse me?" And I was like, please tell me more about myself.
Explain.
Please.
Yeah.
And
tell me how in the first 2 minutes of this ride that you have completely psychologically analyzed
sized me up and all that. And all right, so now I'm doing. I probably could have just stopped and been like, you're being disrespectful. I'll kick you out of the car. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Good luck, Godspeed out there. But you know what? We're not that far away from where she's going, so I'm just going to keep riding.
And what time is this?
About 2:40, 2:45.
Oh, so it's okay.
End of the night.
You said it was end of the night.
Okay, so
those of you who don't understand, it is 2:45 a.m.
And let me
EST.
give a little prequel to this too. I think I was your ride right before that.
Yes, you were.
So you went from good.
He took me home, and he was literally on our 3-minute ride from Huckapoos to my house. He was like, "Man, I've had the best night, man." He's like, "I'm feeling super relaxed. Like everyone's been cool, whatever."
Yes.
You dropped me off.
I've done that.
Yeah. And it's amazing how quickly the worm turns sometimes. And you get this person who absolutely was so disrespectful of what I do to make money, and no one should disrespect anybody for how they make money. I don't care. I don't care what you do.
If you're sucking dicks for $5 on the side of a store.
If that's paying your bills, then whatever and all that.
Those aren't bills.
But to call a number, I didn't.
You didn't solicit them.
I didn't prompt them to get in the car. They called us.
That's very true. Yeah, if you seek out a business, that's the bigger point there.
Yeah.
Some jobs you're doing some shady shit, but if you seek out someone's business and they're offering their business to you, especially when they're the only business in town, you're going to the only restaurants open and serving food and you're starving, you need to be a little more polite than you might have been normally. And they didn't choose you, you chose them.
Well, and I can deal with people being drunk and disrespectful and all that. That's part of you have to navigate that. That is absolutely part of what the job is and all that. And you don't take it personally. And I really didn't take this personally, but she was just cut to the quick so quickly. I was startled by that. I was just like, wow, you've absolutely marginalized.
Karen didn't even warm you up.
Yeah.
Dove in.
But we ended up getting to where we are. I was going to give them a ride for free, only just on principle. It's like, just to prove you wrong, as nasty as you're being and all that. You know what? Maybe
I have a hot tub.
Day.
I don't need your money.
Hey, here, I don't want your money, And again, I'm still trying to kill her with kindness. And so they get out. They were done. They were fine with it. Then the voice in my head said, no, fuck that.
Oh, yeah. Fuck that guy.
You owe me $15. And they're like, what? I'm like, you owe me $15. And she's like, I'm not paying you for this ride. I'm like, if you don't pay me for this ride, I'm going to call the cops and call it for theft of services. And trust me, you're not going to win this one. She throws money at me. In the meantime, the boyfriend, I guess, maybe, I don't know if it was her boyfriend or not. I hope it wasn't. But the boyfriend and the girl were like doing the whole whisper, like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say.
She never does this on Saturdays.
Yeah, it was all that. But I guess the moral of the story, I was just surprised that, I get it. We're not curing cancer out here. It's not rocket science what we do and all that sort of stuff. But we're trying to do our best to get people home safely.
A 3 a.m. cab?
And
I mean, look, I've had surgery I didn't need, but I needed a 3 a.m. cab.
But I was just startled at how quickly she just decided that I was a useless person.
To immediately marginalize you and call you lazy and...
not even a beach bum. Beach bum would have been flattering, apparently. No, I wasn't even good enough to be a beach bum.
Here's the other thing you told me last night. So I was trying to tell him to save a lot of it for tonight, as he was telling me.
I didn't know any. I'm over here. My temperature went at 4 degrees.
As he was telling me. So number one, on Tybee in a Breezy cab, the maximum time you spend in a ride is like $5 or 5 minutes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Depending on traffic.
If there's traffic, you might do 10. And
So to go from 0 to you're a lazy piece of shit.
0 to Karen, 2 blocks.
Yeah.
For driving a cab and you're lazy and you're this and that. Whatever.
Thanks for picking me up. You suck.
Yeah. Oh, and my parents must be really proud of me. That was
you didn't even tell me that.
That's when that little voice said.
Okay, so
that's when the little voice said, "They're going to pay for this. They're paying for this ride."
His night was going so well, so I'm going to speak for you.
Please do.
His night was going so well. What he did was he was like, you know what? This Karen wants to be a bitch. I'll let her be a bitch for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, what's the purpose of even intellectually
especially
engaging
at 2:45 in the morning?
Yeah,
there's nothing to be gained.
Because if someone's drunk and you're sober at 2:45 in the morning, it's Stephen Hawking. I am dogging this dude. Like you're going down, and Kelly is no dim light bulb. Okay, Kelly's an intelligent man. Kelly could easily play with your brain, but he didn't.
No, he did. He's being humble right now because he was like Paxton, you'd be really proud of me. I was like, why? He goes, well, once she started pulling that shit, all I did was bring out the medium to extra medium sized words on her.
I started using big words.
Oh no, I have a very verbose vocabulary, but I don't do it on purpose. But I've been known when someone's being like they're hoity-toity, I'm like, are you?
Well, I can't even remember all the words that I said to her, but I'm sure it kind of spun her a little bit because I was so...
If someone is underestimating me just on the basis of the industry that I'm in, I'm not a fucking genius. I'm not a fucking smart guy. Yeah. But there's certain things that I do for a living, which is interact with people. And I understand psychology and roasting.
And the slow roast is good. But the quick fire roast, they don't even see coming. I'm coming from the back.
Well, do not fuck with me on a quick shot verbal level because
especially when you're behind the bar. Here's the thing: you're behind the bar. You've got An
audience who is all pulling for you.
They're all pulling for you because you're pulling for them. Bottles down, so they're with you.
I'm not.
I've had plenty of passengers, who remark on, what Breezy is, how I make money, and this and that, and they're inquisitive.
Do you have a real job?
Obviously, well.
That's the one. That's the one I always get.
Traditionally, it swings the pendulum swings the other way, where people just think it's the greatest thing. He's like, badass. Oh, you did a corporate gig for 20 years and all that. Yeah, this works. I'm sorry. I like to make the most money for the least amount of effort. That's my plan in life.
And guess what? I get to take off any time that I want to.
That's part of the reason we're all in this industry. Like, it's what Carter said to us.
But to think that that's some sort of detriment or it's some
or
ethics,
that you're lesser than.
Yeah.
Or that you're incapable of being, thoughtful or smart But
I never had a chance to win her over. But all the bag tricks that I have to make things happen in the Breezy, I never even had a chance to even open the sack.
There's no reason to win her over. Now, she forced you into just getting roasted.
Yeah, I killed her with kindness. I felt right about when I left. I had money thrown at me like a stripper.
Okay, can I ask a few questions, please?
Please.
How much money?
$15.
Just 15 flat?
Right on it.
Fucking bitch.
Actually, it probably was 13 technically after I uncrunched all the bills.
She did one to you too?
Yeah.
Oh,
were they dick dollars? Was it Grant?
The wad. It was a wad up and just.
You know what's funny? I had the antithesis of that last night. I had a few couples come in, and I knew they were from out of town, and they remarked on how lucky I was to have the job that I had.
You're like, you have no idea how lucky I am to have this job.
Yeah. They were like, oh my God, this is like a dream. I'm like,
except for the bathroom, guys. You don't want to know about the bathroom.
I was like, you're right. It is a dream in terms of, the money I earn versus how much I work. And, I get to drink at work and hang out, whatever. I'm not, rich by any means, but I get to have fun and meet people and whatever. Right. They're
I'm
like,
not rich, but I'm happy. Father and son.
Yeah, it was just sad. She was a young girl, and I don't know
that was my next question.
I don't know
how old. I was thinking 24, 25.
Probably, yeah, easily mid-20s and all that.
Got whatever car she got when she was 16. It was brand new. It was probably low end luxury, like an Acura.
Well,
I saw one of those today.
It's just sad. I get it. The people. Everybody has a moment and all that, and there's probably a story behind why she was in such a bad mood. I would hope so.
Maybe the next day she woke up and was like, "Oh, what a dick I was."
I would hope her plan in life isn't to go forward navigating people who are in the service industry, however you want to cheapen it.
See,
whatever.
I doubt both of those things. I doubt that she woke up the next day like, "Oh, I shouldn't have."
I hope, but I don't think so.
I shouldn't have been a dickhead last night.
She's talking about you right now somewhere too.
But also, I know that she doesn't have the wherewithal or the thought at all to be
gumption.
Like the gumption to be like, oh, I'm assuming someone is a particular way within the first.
You had told her, if you had said, ma'am, I can't believe your gumption.
Before the fucking door closed.
If you had said, ma'am, I can't believe your gumption, she would have thought it was a Forrest Gump jab, and that would have been great. So, question 4, I didn't get the other 2 out.
Yeah.
What was old Breezy Jr doing during this final countdown?
The boyfriend?
No, what was your
ride-along?
Your ride-along.
Oh, well, he's trying to be helpful as Breezy Jr Ride-A-Long program.
So he picked the money up?
He picked
the money up?
Everything he said just made things worse. To the
them,
point where it was like, she told him to shut the fuck up. And
she told him that?
Yeah. No. And we're still at the laughing stage. We're not to the water tower yet. We're about to make that turn to head over by kind of Coxburg where they were going and all that. But the more nasty she was initially, we were just laughing like, oh damn, all right, okay, this is so
that's a good approach.
But he's not roasting her because the thing is, I'm a dick. If he's still in the car or I'm in the car, we're doing subtle roasts. They're getting that temperature is going up 100 degrees every roast.
And I could have turned it into some little life lesson and been like, you know what, how about we just stop the ride right now? Obviously, you're not happy with the service we're providing for you and all that.
I would have made her cry.
How about get the fuck out of my car?
I am positive. I would have made her cry.
But
I've never wanted to be in the Breezy Ride-Along program more than in that moment.
The thing is, both you and I understand this. It's Kelly. So there's a level of respect we're going to maintain, but there's enough things we know we can say to get a rise out of sorority Karen over here, who definitely. But come on.
It was just one of those moments, and I've had a pretty good run lately with Breezy. I haven't had to deal with this kind of thing in a while.
Malfeasance.
Yeah. Usually I have a plan in place to kind of navigate.
She wouldn't understand that.
Musically, ride-wise, and all that, but this was just one of those moments where
it would have been great if you had a radio that works like really loud, because drunk ass Grant, when we were on our last ride home, I said something to him that made him mad. So every time I talked, he goes, "Hey, the Oscars, run this guy off. Turn it up for me." And the guy turned it up 3 times. And I was like, "Hey man, I'm paying for this ride." And he was like, "Whoop."
I'm the lead over here, man.
I'm going home cooking the pizza.
Yeah.
But so Karen just
I don't have a good closer for this.
No,
I wish I did.
No, and
there's no punchline. It was just
and that's what I was telling you earlier.
Just people be respectful of the people.
No, that's
that are
what I was
trying to
telling
help
you. You didn't need a punchline because it sparks a bigger discussion of now.
When are you getting a real job? That's the first part of this. We talked about this before a year ago, I think. But the question everyone in the industry has probably got at some point in time from either their family or close friend: when are you getting a real job? What's your plan for the future for a real job?
But this wasn't even at that level.
She went below that.
Well, traditionally it's not a derogatory conversation. People were just curious, like, you live on Tabby, how long you been here? Blah blah blah. You go through that.
Why are you driving the Breezy?
Yeah, they just want the story. It's not to,
and that's a totally valid question.
Yeah,
that's
dilute your existence and all that. But this girl just was like,
"You're
just lazy and don't want to work hard."
This what?
Karen.
Thank you.
There we go.
It's so hard to get Kelly to say Karen.
He hadn't said it one time. I wonder why. So anyways, on the Patreon, we want to divulge that because we're going to do a Patreon today, and I've got to talk about a potential Darren. He was Darren-esque.
Yeah.
He's Darren before. He dares to Darren again. He's a Darren juror, if you will.
Firing shots.
Hey, sometimes you got to shoot. Sometimes you don't got to shoot. Look, I would like to bring up something from last week that I need to address again. I didn't tell you I was doing this, and I'm doing it anyways.
Okay.
That motherfucker looked like Pedro Pascal, okay? So he went back to Huckapoo's on Monday, Tuesday. He went back to Huckapoo's after I saw it. So I guess it was probably Monday or Tuesday night. He went back to the bar. Pedro Pascal did, the Mandalorian. Joel from Last of Us. And so I got pictures sent to me by 2 people.
Oh, you sent me those pictures.
I sent you one of them.
But I thought it was from the same night.
It was another night. And he came back, and one of them's a listener that I want you to. So one of them is Rachel. She sent me the best. The one I sent you was Rachel, and one was from somebody else. And it was a terrible picture, so I don't want to bust it out. But Rachel one is perfect. And I'm like, this is so. Either she had heard the podcast or remembered me talking about him. I hope to God she heard the podcast. It wasn't the second one.
All right, look,
I sent it to 5 of my nerdier friends. 3 of them being Patreon subscribers. And they said, it was, holy shit, that's him. It's got to be him. It's so close to him. Vinny goes, that dinner could be him. And Vinny likes to be skeptical according to me.
Listen, I will defer that.
This week, I'll be posting a picture of this gentleman.
I will defer that after further doing my own research. He did definitely look like Pedro Pascal.
Look, he could be Pablo Pascal, his brother, because he looks exactly like him. So I'm going to do a poll this week. Sorry, Pedro Pascal, or this guy, or Pedro Pascal, who I tagged in the post that I made last week. I tagged Pedro Pascal. We got like a bunch of new stuff because of that. So the Mandalorian.
Maybe something.
So I'm going to post that picture of him, and as I do, I'm going to find the one that looks the most like that picture, and you can say, is this him? Is this not him?
I mean, I think
Paxton
that's good.
Paxton Rude?
I think that's good. Well, I did have a Karen, but I think I'm just going to save it for next week because
it's about morals, and it's a bigger discussion.
My Darren's going to be on the Patreon. You want to hear my Darren?
Okay. What are we at? You said like 75?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're hot.
We're doing hot, baby. Okay.
We're going to take a quick
charcuterie break.
Finish the jazz snacks.
Thank you guys for listening this week. We
Patreon, FromBehindTheBarcast, patreon.com. Please subscribe. Help us buy more jazz snacks. Jazz snacks.
We are on Instagram. Please follow us there. We are on YouTube. Commenting.
We're coming back on YouTube fast. So let's come find us.
Commenting on the YouTube and subscribing to the YouTube really helps the algorithm. I know 90% of our people listen on Spotify and Apple and stuff like that. But instead of doing just entire episodes and then smaller clips on YouTube, We're going to start doing medium form stuff.
There's a whole great rap snack battle on there.
Yeah, we just did the rap snacks thing this week. Just let us know. Please let all your friends know in the service industry that we do this. And we thank you for listening. And we will see you on the Patreon if you're lucky enough to be a patron.
This Darren wants shit on the floor in a restaurant, bar, bathroom at 4:30 p.m.
That's called a tease.